personally, in my experience, don't make the ideal component of the downtown for that reason.
The community center, we go back to your first piece of paper, which is, you've gotta have the community center, you've gotta have the green belt, you gotta have a place for the pets, you gotta have a place for people to walk, but you gotta have all of that, along with the residential, and then the space for the commercial, because the commercial will draw itself. Predetermined. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with a hodgepodge of different things, which is what we already have in Farragut. Somebody does something over there, then somebody does something over there, none of it ties together, and there's no integration of concept. And so what you have to have, the only thing we can do is come up with density.
Okay.
Talking about walkability, what distance is walkable?
Okay. How far are you walking? How far are you willing to walk in?
I thought we talked about a half-mile radius is what we were looking at.
Right.
Started out.
Okay. So.
And we got two large boxes right there, that he lives in the Kroger Center that would, and that land already has parking, and two large buildings that would house a community center. It's right
Yeah.
in this area we're talking about.
Sure, this could be the community center, so what you're doing.
Yeah. And so the center now is right where your marker, right?
That would be almost right across the street from here.
Yeah. And lots of parking there. And in fact, in our town, there is an old grocery store that's now converted into a 24-hour fitness place and put a swimming pool inside.
Not far from here, there's another one just like that.
Is there?
Not far from there, there's another one.
Yeah, and not far from there is the other one.
But not a fitness, we're talking
Okay.
a community center with
Right.
classes and
Right.
and
I
it's a
got
whole
it.
different
Right.
Yeah.
purpose.
Right. Okay. So, any more pros and cons for this idea? We sort of jumped across the street. We're going to talk a little bit this afternoon about some historic properties, and this one, and the Campbell Station Inn over here, and how those might tie in to this whole concept. But
One con with that is crossing Kingston Pike.
crossing Kingston Pike, thank you. That is a challenge.
It's not inviting to the district.
So it's really tough to make Kingston Pike connected. What could, how can we overcome that?
You put a pedestrian bridge over it that was built nice, looked really nice, welcome to Farragut on it. You could do that up really nice.
Pedestrian bridge would be one.
Same, yeah.
Would you climb up 13 feet, cross over, and then down 13
Depends on
feet?
how I have to climb it. Make it easy.
Elevator,
There's several ways to go over a
put an
bridge.
escalator in it.
Well, I don't know if you want to do that because it'd have to be enclosed, because we have weather.
Right.
But, I mean, you could circle around, go up, you know, you can go straight up. There's several different ways you can go.
Could we go under it?
Well, that's, if we can go under for that, we could go under for parking. It doesn't sound like we could do that.
If we raise this, it'd be terribly expensive, obviously.
Could raise the roads.
It's always more likely to go under than over.
Particularly with handicap access.
Yeah, handicap access, you have to be about 3 miles away to start your way.
Well, that's the trouble going.
From an elevator. What do you think, Ruth? Any way to get under Kingston Pike?
At that location that you just pointed out, that bridge is actually below the 100-year floodplain, so your elevation of Kingston Pike would actually have to be raised overall, because that has topped during storm events in the past. So there are issues on that end of Kingston Pike. On the other end of Kingston Pike, I know that when First Utility District had to do a lot of boring, they ran into some heavy-duty rock and ran into problems when they were boring from the utilities for the veterinary hospital. You have an existing bridge underneath Kingston Pike that is an arch bridge that
I don't think going under would be the right thing to do. I think having an overbridge with, you know, the welcome to Farragut type thing, lighting on it, make it unusual looking, or make it look like a drawbridge or whatever, but that would be a focal point that tells you you're at that town center.
Would it be easier to put a center, what you call it? A median, where, I mean, it would feel safer getting across 2 lanes. Than getting across the other.
It's an idea.
I don't know.
Oh, you're talking up our alley, we lost that.
But what?
We agree.
So if we were to put some sort of a median here,
Right.
so a refuge in the middle,
Yes.
some trees in it, make it into a boulevard
There you go.
instead of a highway. How'd we lose that one, Ruth? Who did we lose to?
Complainers.
No comment.
Let's just say that Grigsby Chapel Green, which has served as a wonderful pedestrian refuge, have been received with mixed sentiment.
You can count me on the 4.
Well, is this just an island, or is this,
That's actually a turn lane through there.
well, I understand that, but are we talking about refuge for foot traffic?
We're talking about being able to get to this point and then cross the second half here, so you feel like you're not crossing 5 lanes at one time.
You're looking at a lot of city roads. I think.
Yeah.
Pretty much cheaper than we-
Costs a lot more.
I think sitting here, we can always find reasons why you can't do things. And I happen to have the good fortune of growing up in Chicago. In terms of the question of walkability, the Miracle Mile is 1.5 miles. Michigan Avenue is more foreboding than Kingston Pike is. Yet, I don't know of anybody who doesn't love going up to Chicago, parking their car and spending the next 5 days never seeing their car, walking up and down Michigan Avenue, crossing as many busy streets as there are, for the benefit of the enjoyment of the vitality that exists there. So I think we can find reasons to kill ideas, but what we should do is try to energize the environment, the place, and those ideas will overcome those problems.
So leave the median in here for a minute, Chase. So let's say we have a median in here. What else could we do to make this more pedestrian friendly or accessible?
Reduce the speed limit.
How would we do that? Just signs?
Well, signs, TDOT approval is probably going to be the biggest obstacle. But
Okay. What else could we do?
Single lane or single.
Narrow it? Narrow it? That might be a little challenging.
maybe signalized crosswalks.
Signalized crosswalks, okay. Automatic. Okay. What about, how about on-street parking?
On Kingston Pike?
Not a chance.
What if we took Kingston Pike in this area for about 3 blocks and called it Main Street? And you slow down and you go through, there's on-street parking, and you actually bring stores out to the street and make it into a Main Street feel.
Have you been there when school's going and when school's getting out? There's no way that,
There's no
there's no
way.
way that would work. You can't get through there with the streets as wide as they are now. That, I'm sorry,
People
but
would be really angry.
yeah,
Okay?
you would take 4 lanes of traffic into 2 lanes in an already congested area. You would have, it would be Turkey Creek at Christmas.
Yeah, every day.
Okay?
Maybe someone
Fair
would
enough.
choose to walk instead.
Hmm?
Maybe someone would choose to walk.
Yeah, but,
Well, you don't want to force them to walk.
okay, so is that a deal killer?
I think any on-street parking on Kingston Pike is a deal killer.
Well,
You're looking at, you couldn't back out of there.
okay.
Your car would be sideswiped all the time.
So a pedestrian overpass has got to be 500.
Hey, Ruth.
Minimum clearance has got to be 13 feet, right? Generally about 16 feet.
The bridge, pedestrian bridge in Alcoa.
So get us 16 feet in the air there.
That's the
Chase.
one we ought to build like that.
Well, you could build buildings on the other side, you could go up on the second level of a building and just walk right across.
But you don't get bicycles across that way. You have to be in a building.
Or wheelchairs.
Alcoa has a bridge, a pedestrian bridge that goes across right now. It's, I don't think it's the nicest looking, but something similar to that. Yeah, you take the safety factor completely out of the equation by going overhead. For traffic, for pedestrians walking, getting struck in the street.
So, Paul, we can go up at what, 5% on a sustained level, 5%, so 5% grade, 13 feet is how much? How many feet
But I'll,
of ramp?
And that bridge with the decorative lighting that they want to do, there's the perfect opportunity for your decorative lighting, right on the
is
bridge.
320.
Well, that's the.
That's our ADA ramp.
That's our ADA
Yeah.
ramp.
How many millions is that one gonna cost?
Yeah, you'd have to traverse it.
A few. But we can start acquiring land.
I start to think that, because both, it seems like some of the community necessity of this arterial, and the nature of the road, that this is gonna be a barrier, and I would, not that we have to change course because I said stuff, but I think that a town center maybe shouldn't necessarily try to unite these two halves of town.
I don't know, Chase. I think it's doable. I think right now, maybe we're caught up in a technical solution. The goal I'm hearing is to make this intersection work for pedestrians, one way or another. I don't think we need to design it today, but any vision for, I think, for the downtown, the center may be weighted one side or the other, but common sense says we've got to find a way for people to get across this road and feel comfortable doing it. There are two sides here that have to be united, and it seems to me that's a fundamental statement that I'm hearing intuitively what you guys are saying. That's a big idea.
Rather than trying to do a pedestrian crossing at the intersection and adding the islands at the intersection, the problem with adding the islands is everybody's right about the congestion and the need to turn lanes. Adding landscape islands away from the intersections and providing pedestrian crossing and refuge that aren't at intersections. Because when you cross Kingston Pike currently, you can look up at the traffic signal of Campbell Station and Kingston Pike, and you wait, and then if there was a safe place to go in the middle, and then you would look at the old Kroger, at the old vet hospital and the new Kroger, you can see when that one, then you can get halfway across. So when we were talking about the landscape islands, we weren't necessarily talking about at intersections because of the need for turn lanes. What we were, at the staff level, we've talked about Campbell Station Road with landscape islands, and in fact, with our Watt Road extension, there's gonna be landscape islands in there and everything. And Concord Road, when it gets widened, there's gonna be landscape islands, but they're not gonna be at intersections, they're gonna be at mid-block, which I know that some people have concerns about mid-block crossings, but people use mid-block crossings all the time elsewhere.
How's our training coming?
So that might be an option to consider as a more cost-effective way to get pedestrians across.
So was this kind of like the location?
First of all, we eliminate curb cuts on each
Are we in the right area?
We never really have talked about Kingston Pike just because there's way too many curb cuts. And that's why we primarily talked about Campbell Station Road. The only place we've talked about Kingston Pike is farther west, particularly at the Baptist Church, where you constantly see people trying to cross there, and it's just nerve wracking.
Clear down here.
Yeah, and it's like, I see kids do it all the time, and it just
This is
scares me.
cold, and the next one's left.
But, yeah, people are constantly crossing that area, and we really need some mid-block refuges, because I don't think that it would warrant traffic signals, but,
Okay.
down at the old Kroger in that area, there's still too many curb cuts that really have mid-block crossing, except for that section between.
But if that area gets reconfigured and you don't have that strict commercial format anymore, but you have a new paradigm, then it could work.
Right, but you'd have to eliminate more, rather than having all the curb cuts, you'd have to eliminate it.
Exactly.
Just like what you had up on up in front of the Ford property, you have a lot of curb cuts. In reality, you wanna keep your curb cuts minimalized.
That's right.
So that you could have these mid-block crossings, because with that plan, we actually looked at a below-grade thing, and the problem is Village Green wasn't designed with drainage, and there's this huge drain pipe that goes, or culvert that goes in on the north side, so we never could get it. We could get underneath Kingston Pike, but then we hit that storm drain, we didn't have any place to go with it.
Well, it is intriguing here with the drainage that exists and what you're talking about with the bridge issue, whether there could be an underpass created that's a part of a trail system that's connecting some really nice green space or amenity there.
The pipe that's under Kingston Pike at North Fork Turkey Creek is very attractive, the problem is the whole thing's used for water.
Aren't you talking here about what this might look like in 15 to 20 years? You're talking about 2025. And when I look at the west end, the part north of Kingston Pike, unfortunately, that area has had a tremendous turnover over the years. And we don't even think about going in there, except if we go to a certain place. But it seems like that may be an ideal place to really give it some revitalization in that area if, you know, if they get together. And a lot of the property and the buildings are there that might be upgraded and used. Where starting from scratch, you're talking about big bucks for somebody, and even a bridge across. It looks like that could be the place you might start with the eventual hope of going across Kingston Pike into those other areas.
Right. We got a little exercise we wanted you to do when you came, but we weren't quite ready, so we're gonna do it now. We've got some boards out here, we've got some red dots, we've got green dots. We'd like you to look at the boards, we'd like you to pick out with the green dots the things you like, and you think ought to be elements or could be elements of a town center for Farragut. And the red dots are things you think are not appropriate, okay? I think how many boards are we on? Six boards. So, we're selling these dots.
That's a great idea.
This side red, this side is green. Ignore the orange in the middle.
Oh, the orange is me.
You give 5.
Okay, can we just take about a 15-minute break here, go do that, and then come back? I've got about 45 minutes left, and I've got some really key questions I want you to answer.
You guys got yourself. The teenager that drove through it, she finally called me back. So she's gonna get some of her buddies. I've got some of the extra material. So I'm gonna supervise them and let her and her buddies. I'll show them where to put the posts. I'll probably tackle it and let her do the painting.
That's,
So,
you know, I think one of the things
yeah.
really neat, and that, you know, that's actually a good one, because when I think about the process of this kind of thing, I don't think very because what's good about that is there are so few crossings 525, especially ones that are pedestrian crossings. And this one just happens to be the place that unites the REI neighborhood with the Highland neighborhood, that there was just so much synergy and need for that it's one of the very few rare examples of one that's, in fact, it's wildly successful. It is across.
Yeah, when you said, I used my when the bridge was
Yeah. And it's in fact, it's actually really close. They have this big set of really nice stairs. So, you know, where you'd expect to have a handrail on one side, they actually have like a concrete rail that's just elevated a little bit. You push your bike in it, and it has these little tracks. So it's really easy just to one arm them up alongside you when you walk. It's really cool. Because so many people do the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'll buy a
There's, I mean, The only time I use my car is for work, in all honesty. It's to go to the office on the times that I do. And I choose not to take the bus because I'm strained for time. Or I have to do all the business travel. I mean, we can, especially with me and my wife, we can certainly only have one car. You're right, when it's time to go get toilet paper and ketchup, I'm gonna certainly carry more groceries than I want. But right now, we can walk five small blocks over to the little grocery store, and we get what we're gonna cook for that meal, and, breakfast.
Or much easier if you watch a TV later or something.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so, for us, it's changed, it's just, what we found, to tie it together, is that there's places that people want to be, so many people want to be there, but parking's hard. And when parking gets hard, it becomes real nice to be able to leave your car somewhere and walk it. And those two ideas, those two things come together with the vitality of the place and the density of the energy.
Who had been right up the whack in Chicago. Single guy, right past his place that he bought, he sold his car. And he played golf, so he can see never gonna own a car again in my life.
I mean, those like occasional car things, those are really picking up. I mean, Denver's certainly not Chicago or New York, but it's, yeah. But it's those kinds of uses are I'm seeing more and more. It's really cool. We have our administrative assistant in our office. They only have one car, and she gets an occasional car for random trips and stuff.
Talking about closing off streets and pedestrians, the west side of New Orleans now. They do that down there. They close Royal Street in the daytime to traffic, close the yard towers and things.
I mean, I think, I want to push the conversation like this, because I thought that, people, I think that's what's hard is, this could be, Jeff said, this could be a Main Street. What if this, something like it was Main Street? And, but it comes you can't see that. Who cares if it's congested? They'll go somewhere, go another way. That's okay if it's congested. What do you want? And so to some degree, you need to have your infrastructure be ahead of the curve for the uses that you want. So if you want cubed Main Street uses, you need to have a cubed Main Street park. And you can't shoehorn one into the other.
When you guys got into high density buildings, after the trade, Giants, us, seriously, it's considered I know.
Yeah, high density and level of urbanness is always a regional, regionally relative. Yeah, if she says those, that actually the parking ratio wasn't bad. It was probably even pretty reasonable. It was pretty low. It was just in the wrong place. The one thing that I personally hated about that plan is that it had parking. I mean, it had parking out on the street. I mean, it's like your front door and you have this huge parking. And that just kills me. Like, I mean, every time you go street, car, or you go street, on-street parking, sidewalk, building, that's always, that's a formula for success every time. Or at least it'll set you up to be flexible with nothing else.
When we started looking at houses, we walked in
You have to think, their uses have to be appropriate, and it's actually interesting because where I live, there's a lot of ground floor residential, and it has varying degrees of success. You know, it's, in the particular building I have, we actually are on the ground floor, but it's about half the floor above. So it's separated just enough from the street that I can walk out of my way.
That's all right.
Not offending them. So there just needs to be a little bit of separation if you do that, or take a little bit of education. But you're right, it's not, it's generally, it's office use, it's a bank, it's a restaurant, it's anything is good. So, I mean, all that's all. They're trying to grab most sort of the general smattering of building forms.
That'll be exciting too, so.
You know, this is some sort of commercial, retail, anything, pick it. And then above that, some office, residential, anything. And if you do this with some really nice treatments, some really new infrastructure, these changes can change 100 times, and you'll never have to have different. You don't have to change anything else. It's just these uses. If you get bones, but admittedly, it's hard. Yeah, town center is a big amorphous concept.
Nice talking to you.
You too. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. See you next time. Did you get me back now?
Oh, yeah, I'll be
Later
there.
on tonight?
Yes.
Sue, you ought to come out to the pitch tomorrow night. We play beard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, district playoffs.
Woohoo!
Couldn't they see ahead?
Yeah.
What's going on tonight? I missed my sheet. Are you giving the same thing this afternoon? I mean, on different subjects.
This afternoon is on this one.
Okay, and what's?
Yeah, we got it around.
And that's at what time?
6.
Oh, okay, close. 6 or 7?
6.
Okay. Wow. That'll be a drag out affair.
Yeah, nice that the city's providing lunch and dinner for all of us.
Well, gee,
It's the least we can do.
I knew that there was a reason to come.
It actually is.
You know, nobody's really addressed the question of did
Sarah, there's a
she
spot
pay
right
the
here.
town-
There's
town
2
center?
empty chairs, right here.
What are they gonna do with it?
Huh?
We need is more taxes.
Well, you know,
We're
there's,
talking
of course,
about
the
a-
Costco and
The town center.
the trade.
Trader Joe's is going in
Like,
further
they're
down.
picturing different areas.
It's public,
that could be
public,
considered
but-
a building
But
for the town center.
I don't, you know, you're just gonna cut the grocery store pipe thinner.
Well, that's what they've
Yeah,
done. They
because-
put 3 major chains within 1 square mile of each
Yeah,
other.
I mean, you know, I'm not gonna buy any more food because Publix is here.
That's like having CVS and Walgreens right across the street.
Oh, if you go any place, you see, when they build one, they Well, we've got the
Yeah,
empties.
they, what we're talking about now.
But I'm not sure that Farragut needs a town center.
I think what we need is redevelopment. We don't need this street. We need to revitalize what we already have.
Yeah, there's too many, well, I rarely go into West End. Like where the Farragut. The last time I was there,
And then another one.
well, no, two more stores were gone out of that.
They haven't talked about it that much, but,
I've never been in a single one
over
of
by
those.
the,
But you know, I think a lot of people in this town, when I was their age,
Well,
but I
Sue's
was
gonna be sitting there.
community center. Oh,
That's right, that's right.
you told me if you get their charge bills, it's food, gasoline. And
Oh, no.
we don't go out to eat very often, so it's just, that's, you told me to sit there, that's what we spend our money on, because I don't need that much stuff.
Well, all these seats they put in, they're wrong. I think so.
That was great. Yeah, it was great.
What
We,
was he?
I think Lauren said there was over 190 children who participated.
Really?
Yeah, so.
How was that?
That's really good. You know, I think the highest we ever had was up around 300. That was several years ago, and it was when it was in the afternoon. You know, most youth athletics, baseball, softball, soccer, t-ball, whatever, it's on Saturday mornings. So, you know, we're competing with things like that, and to have the turnout that we did, was really good. Yeah, it's a little. Nothing worse than planning a big event like that and having a bunch of parents and kids and come through. Nice. I was happy to see him out.
Yeah, summer program, well. What do you want?
Yeah, she's.
So they were all, there were a lot of chairs out there.
We're gonna ask that question tonight.
I think a lot of people do, but I don't know. And you can say that these places have to be closed.
Two or three times a day, so.
I was sitting there thinking about that, where they can find out, we need some information.
That's where the museum is. We had a house, I came from the zoo.
How are you doing?
And we ended up, there was a house there built, and I had a home built in 1860. And, the interstate came through, and the house was all decrepit, in good shape. They let us go to the junior college, junior college, homeless.
Okay, let's see if we can get started
Get
here.
it up anyway.
We're closing in on the finish here.
I said that the people.
That's a serious one.
If you walk every single sidewalk in our neighborhood, it's less than a mile. So these kids have to walk less than a half a mile to get to the bus stop, and